Joe, Edson Oliveira here. This is the DNN monthly chat, and today it's just me and Joe. We're gonna wing this, we're gonna do this. Scott is busy, is traveling, is training. That's fine, Scott. You can hide, you can keep hiding yourself. Next month, I want you to join us. But today, just me and Joe. Joe, how was your Thanksgiving? How was your Black Friday buying spree?
My Black Friday buying spree was quite short, uh, non-existent, and I think I went in the house on Tuesday evening and didn't leave the house until yesterday morning. It was a nice, relaxing weekend.
That's a very good strategy. You know, I was talking to someone and they were saying, "No, I'm saving for Christmas." That's okay. That's fine. Let me ask you this, Joe. I think that you got something on your mail. I'm not talking about email, I'm talking about mail this past month. Can you show us what that was, what that is?
Oh, sure, sure. This lovely item with a reflection in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to show. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show mine. And again, we're not showing off, okay, guys? It's just that I want to recognize, I want to thank openly Clint Patterson, because he made a point after he joined DNN Corp that he would be sending this little plate, that's for the DNN MVP nominations. Sorry, not nominations. The MVPs back on 2015. So Joe got his, I got mine. I'm very glad. Again, there's no expiry date. I'm very pleasant. I'm even more pleasant that they wrote my name right. Joe, did they do a good job on yours?
They put the N in. Yeah, and I don't know if anybody will be able to read this, but it says spring 2015. So we're right timely in showing off these awards.
Yeah. And anyway, just a quick note. I just want to thank, openly, Mr. Patterson Clint for making this happen. 2 years later, that's fine. But hey, you know what? I still love it. Thank you very much, Clint.
Yeah, okay, I think Dennis Shaw was involved too. So shout out to Dennis.
Okay, perfect. I was not aware of everybody that was involved, but Dennis, thank you very much to you as well. Now let's go to the news, to the blogs, to the events, to whatever happened in the past month. And to be honest, I mean, it's interesting to see a lot of movement, a lot of excitement, and it's not just lip service here. I'm talking about a lot of events, a lot of blog posts, a lot of excitement in the community. And I can see just by the sheer number of blog posts. A few months ago, I was complaining that we had 1 or 2 blog posts, but this time around we have over 10 blog posts on the DNN community forum. So I'm going to start with the one posted by the new CEO, Andy Triba, about his first 3 months after the acquisition of DNN Corp. How was it? How things are moving along? And I would say that the biggest element here of this post is really the announcement of the ecosystem advisory groups, which are divided into 4 groups: technology, developers, partners, and awareness. And the idea is to mobilize community members and organize them in those different groups of work groups. And so we can, keep technology going, keep development engagement, keep partners as well engaged, partners being hosting providers, module vendors, all different elements of the ecosystem, as well as the awareness group, which is supposed to promote training, push the word out there about DNN. So Sean Walker is the lead in technology side, Peter Donker from a developer advisory group, David Poindexter, our buddy David, he is the lead on the Partners Advisory Group, and Will Stroll is leading the awareness group. Right away, I sent an email to Clint. Clint is the one that is overseeing this, is organizing this. If you'd like to join one of those groups, one of those work groups, send a note to Clint. Clint has his email here on this blog post, and he will put you, in contact with the lead of that particular group. And again, I raise my hand. Hopefully I'll be working at some point with Will Stroll. I raise my hand for the awareness group. But again, I would invite anyone that wants to contribute a little bit closer to the ecosystem, to the promotion of ecosystem, to the maintenance of the ecosystem, to find a group that might relate better with your interests, with your skills, and hopefully you can join that. And it's good to see, Sean Walker back in the loop here, leading the technology advisory group. Joe, anything on that? Any input on that?
I just think it's frighteningly exciting to have all of this going on. And certainly those four names, Sean Walker, Peter Donker, David Poindexter, and Will Stroll, should not be strange names to many in the community. And it's nice to have all of them involved at an even higher level.
Awesome.
Some of them have been quite strong critics of the path that DNN Corp has taken over the last several years, and I think if you go and read Andy's blog post, he's more than aware of that. He went out and recruited the people who are passionate to lead these groups, and I'm just very excited that he found a way to get Sean involved. Back in the process.
Yeah, and as I note later on down the road, Sean will be one of the keynote speakers of,
The other one will be Andy Treba. So we can throw in a commercial here.
Yes,
if you want to find out what's going on in the DNN world, Anderson will tell you how to do that later on.
We're gonna get there in a second, but let's cover the blog posts in general now. I'm gonna keep moving forward here. So again, if you are interested in the review of the 3 months review of Andy Treba, of what he has been working on, what has been doing, this is a good blog post to look at. Next one here is big news this month as well. DNN has joined the .NET Foundation, which is an open source, how would I describe that? It's an open source organization it's an organization within Microsoft geared towards promoting open source within the .NET ecosystem. And of course, DNN could not be out of that group. So the .NET Foundation accepted DNN as part of the group, which comes back to the renewed commitment from DNN Corp of keeping the product open source as well. So again, it's one more piece of this big puzzle that is being built over time with this new renewed commitment after the acquisition with open source and the community. So again, very good move here. If you want to read more about that, there is this blog post of DNN joining the foundation from Will Morgenweg. Next here in line, let's see. DNN Digests November 2017. So it seems to me that every month our friend Clint Patterson, he will be putting together a news announcement, a news email summarizing what's going on within the ecosystem, and he puts that together and he sends that as an email. But there is also a blog post. He talks about things in general, talking about DNN Summit as well, and a lot of stuff here. Events, they feature some vendors, they feature some events happening. So yeah, just a great place. Even some Twitter stuff. I mean, welcoming Mitchell Sellers' new baby. So it's also there, and even some Halloween stuff. And hey, look at that! My carving art is here as well. How cool is that? Anyway, just side note. So again, if you want to get more into what's going on within the DNN, that's a great way to get updated as well as our conversations here on a monthly basis, as well as the user group, the Southern Fried user group too. So different ways that you can get some information, what's going on the ecosystem. Okay, so that was the digest. Now, another post here from Clint, and he's talking about how you can go about contributing your DNN open source project and how you can get visibility on that. And he mentioned how you can contribute to open source regarding DNN and how he can actually promote your open source initiative in the monthly newsletter, in the monthly digest as well. So very interesting one here if you'd like to get your project promoted from DNN Corp as well. Steve, I know that you are there, so keep that in mind. I know that you are cooking there your project. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as an option. I'm just saying that to you, Steve. You know what I'm talking about here. But we'll be releasing that at some point. Anyway, let me see here. Okay, so that's the Clint article here. Now, let's talk about, so those were more announcements and news from a blog standpoint. Now let's talk a little bit about the technical blog posts that also happened quite a lot this past month. I'm going to start with the one from Bogdan Litescu from DNN Sharp. He's talking about two ways that you can have new menus, new entries into the persona bar of DNN9. He's talking about a manual way that you can put an item there, and he's also talking about a programmatically way that you can insert an item there. So very good blog post. Actually, I'm gonna get the manual strategy here, and I'm gonna create a tip of the week out of that. So thank you very much, Bogdan, for that tip. I'll be using that, and of course, I'll be crediting yourself while I do that. Okay. What else? So technical blog posts. Again, Joe, feel free if you want to chime in at any point. I'll just keep blasting away here. So a lot, actually, a combination of two contributors there. Ash Prasad and George Alatrash. They are both talking about the open source UI automation framework that is being brought as open source to the community. And through a series of 4 blog posts, they describe the strategy, they go into technical details on how to use the automation framework, which uses F#, if I'm not mistaken. So again, if you are very technical oriented, if you want to get your hands on how DNN does UI automation, that's a great opportunity for you to see how they do it. And even as this is open source, I'm assuming that you can even contribute to that as well. So this is in total 5 blog posts, all about automation, UI testing, integrated testing, and again, a bunch of technical stuff here, technical blogs that you can go through. That's about it. Last but not least, if you want to, I want to give a little bit of a 2sex content love here. So as usual, our friend Daniel Mettler has 2 blog posts about 2sex content and all the fancy things that you can do with the module, talking about relationship filtering, some using some SQL data source. So again, if you are into 2sex content, have a look at that. Usually a little bit more technical oriented type of reading, But hey, also great, always great to have Daniel Mettler contributing to the blogs. Now, that's about
They
it.
they
Go ahead.
they just add features faster than mortals can keep up.
Yeah.
It's amazing what is coming out of that organization, and uh, uh, that that is my favorite third-party module. You can pretty much do anything with it, and every time I read the blog posts, I realize there are things you can do with it that I didn't even know. So it's a really amazing product, and you can use it in very simple ways. You can use it in extremely complicated ways.
Yeah, I wish, in a way, I wish that, and maybe it's, I'm looking, from my perspective, I just wish that there were more content oriented to getting started with the tool. Sometimes I have, whenever I see those blog posts, I see, hey, this is too much for me, or so again, I just find that I would hope that they would have, or we would produce some more basic introductory content around 2sex content. But again, just my 2 cents. Okay, so Joe, let me ask you a question. Have you heard or have you used DNN stuff before?
Yes, I have. I
DNN stuff.
have used aggregators since joining the DNN community back in 2006, 2007.
And that's awesome because I saw this announcement. I assume that I'm on his newsletter, and I saw this announcement last month that Richard Edwards, which is the guy behind DNN stuff, which, by the way, he's just about an hour and a half away from me. He's my Canadian buddy here, very close by, an hour and a half driving distance from me. But we never really touched base much, or maybe we exchanged some emails a few years ago. But bottom line is that I got the announcement last month, a few weeks ago, that he's open sourcing all modules that were being served under the DNN stuff brands, and now it's all available on Git. So if anyone that SQL View Pro, I'm sure that this is a great module. I think that I have used that in the past, but again, they have aggregator, favorite, welcome, inject anything, which I assume it's for injecting scripts and injecting maybe even HTML. I'm not, but bottom line is that he is opening up everything. Actually, it looks like he's closing the DNN stuff brand, which didn't seem to be very active in the last few years, but he's still part of the DNN community. He is saying that he's still working with DNN, but the modules now are open source for anybody to take it, for anybody to contribute to them. And yeah, so Richard, it's great that you are still part of the DNN ecosystem. Thank you very much for your contribution. And as I saw from his post, he has been in the DNN ecosystem since 2004. So pretty much 13 years within DNN, but he's not going anywhere. However, again, the brand will be, it seems to be shut down, and now the modules are open source. So again, great for everybody. Good to see those vendors that are not so much active anymore. And I'll go back to one that did that recently, the Venturin one. He did Scott did something similar with Venturin modules. He also open source. Is that correct, Joe, or am I mistaken here?
You're correct. You're correct. Yeah, and it's. I think this connects back to reinvigorating the DNN community, but I think it also reflects where we have come from over the last 10-ish years. That these days I find less and less of a need to add some third-party modules. Back then, there were lots of little modules that filled in missing pieces of functionality. Things that you don't need quite as much anymore. I think there were probably 5 or 6 inject anything wherever you want type modules back then. And we don't seem to need them anymore. And I think that's
I get it.
More of an indication that the DNN product is much more sophisticated and mature than it was when I first started.
I get it.
An aggregator is one of those things that has its uses, and when you need it, you really, really need it. But I tend to find that I don't really need it quite that much anymore.
At the end of the day, I mean, times are changing. Times are different from 10 years ago, from 13 years ago, and needs have changed as well. And what I'll say is that Richard, I mean, you should definitely reach out to Clint, because again, he's always looking to promote, and I think that this is a nice announcement that should be promoted and given more visibility a little bit more, But so that's it. That's
Absolutely agree with you.
Yep. Awesome. So again, Richard, thank you very much for all your contribution and great initiative. I hope that you can come in and join us in a future DNN News on one of our monthly chats. Okay, moving on here. I have 3 events that I would like, actually 4, because there's a major one, we cannot forget about our guide there, But let me start with 3 that are not that guys. So let's start with this expert panel and DNN administration tools that make your job easier. It will be presented by our friend David Poindexter. He will be talking about what? NV Quick Sites, which I use pretty much every day. Kelly Ford, which will be talking about what? Prompt, of course, which is now integrated with DNN 9.2. Actually, I just downloaded DNN 9.2, a nightly build, and I saw prompt right there. And we're gonna also have Ryan Moore talking about Evoltiva backup. I'm a big fan of Evoltiva's modules. Our friend Horatio from Uruguay, whom I interviewed a few years ago. Great guy, and he has a very, his modules are really sharp, really well put together. So Ryan Moore will be talking about Evoltiva backup, and that panel will be happening. We are recording this on November 28th. So in 2 days, on November 30th, this will happen in 2 days. So if you want to get, to make your administration job a little bit easier, you should definitely check that out with those 3 presentations. And again, all the links will be posted in the video notes. The second one here is the virtual user conference for DNN users. It sounds very pompous and it sounds very big, but let's boil this down. Usually it's a 1 hour chat. Actually, it seems to be very similar to the one he did initially, Andy Triba. According to Clint, he seems to be going to do that on a quarterly basis. So every quarter, he will come up, he'll present what was done, and maybe he will open up for some pools. But this will be happening on December 6th, in just a few days. And again, I would really advise that anyone that is involved in the DNN community join that. He opens up usually with pools, with Q&A. So it's very good to have access to big guy, driving things on a quarterly basis. We never had that before, to be honest with you. So very good one.
And just to point out that all of these things occur as live events, but they're all recorded and made available to the community. So if it happens at a time that's not convenient for you, wait until the link is available and you can watch it on your own time.
Definitely. And I'll make one additional note is that if you have any topics that you'd like them or him, Andy, to address that during the presentation, you may sign up, add your question to the speaker. There's a form, there's a field for that, so he can know about that up front and in a way be ready to address your question or be prepared to address your question even during the presentation. So again, I really entice you to join that and ask your question to the guy in the tree. That's the second one. The third one here is an expert panel. The panel is called DNN Module Development. It's conducted, the moderator is Will Morganweck, and the participants will be Peter Donker, Brian Dux. Come on, I mean, what am I talking? Brian Dux. Sorry, Brian. Not Dux, Dux. Mandip Singh, Scott Wilson. So our own Scott Wilson will be there as well. And what the talk will be about is really about best practices on module development. Talking about security, talking about how to avoid, some of the problems that happened a few months ago with a few vendors that had their modules being exploited by hackers. So a very, very good. I'm looking forward to join that panel as well as a listener, but just join to see what those guys are talking about. I mean, those are top-notch developer, experts in the DNN space.
And Mandeep Singh was one of the vendors who had products removed from the store temporarily while everybody in the background was scrambling to fix problems. So I expect that he's got some real tales to tell about how to do things right. He may even show some of the scars he got.
Yeah, and there's something more that we're going to be talking about security just in a bit when we touch about Southern Fried DNN user group, but hold on a second on that one. Now, the fourth and last one here that we're going to be talking about is, of course, the DNN Summit, the event that's coming up on February. I don't know if there is anything new that you want to mention there, Joe. I just want, go ahead. Anything that you want to mention?
Well, it's February 6th through the 10th. If you partake of the entire event, the 6th, the first day of the event offers a full day of training in your choice of administration, theme development, module development, or a more introductory session on DNN. So, for people who don't want to endure the whole administration part, an introduction to DNN and a laboratory session that allows them to work through DNN, maybe solve some problems or maybe do some other things. I might mention that Anderson will be leading the full day of administrative training.
When you say don't want to endure DNN, I'm sure you're talking about don't want to endure me. Is that what you're talking about? No, absolutely not. But there are people who are not hardcore managers of the DNN installation, but would like to know more about how it works. So, awesome.
Or maybe newcomers to DNN who would like to get the top level introduction before diving in to a much more detailed thing, and also for themes and for module development.
Awesome.
Also on the 6th is in the afternoon is a business roundtable, which is basically a guided group think on how people use DNN in their business, and that includes people whose business is DNN and people who use DNN, share information, share ideas, question and answer session. The business roundtable is free, so come in early in the day before the conference starts and go to the business roundtable to begin the networking experience, and particularly if you have business uses of DNN that you'd like to discuss with other people. The conference itself this year is a 2-day conference on the 7th and the 8th, so there will be 2 full days of parallel sessions, I think 5 parallel sessions throughout the day. Each day will include a keynote address, one keynote by the DNN CEO Andy Treba, and one keynote by the DNN God, Sean Walker. Sean Walker is the original developer of .NET Nuke, and a really bright, focused individual, and I always enjoy listening to Sean talk or read what he's written because he does a really fine job there. So the 2-day conference is the 7th and 8th. That's a Wednesday and a Thursday. Tuesday night is a welcoming reception, and Thursday night is an after party, which will be your last opportunity to chat with people. And we left Wednesday night open so that people can get together informally. These conferences in the past, I think, have seemed like nonstop from 7 in the morning till 11 at night. So there's a place in there where people can relax, get together. The Embassy Suites, where the event will occur, has an evening reception, and that's spelled free drinks. So that in a nice gathering place downstairs where people can get together very informally. For those who just can't get enough of DNN and other things, Friday and Saturday is a 2-day DNN on the Slopes event, which will be held in Winter Park, Colorado. We will be providing a bus up to Winter Park, and on Sunday, a bus from Winter Park to the Denver airport. But that gives you an opportunity to ski, snowboard, snowmobile. You get to pick one of those. There's some snow tubing and other things. And I understand that the social part of the event was a lot of fun last year. Involved music and specially written songs, and so I think about 50 people went to that last year. So if you go to dnnsummit.org, you can register for the event. You will find links to purchase tickets to whatever it is you wish to partake in, and that includes the Tuesday training session, the full conference, and the winter activities at Winter Park. there's also if you're going to do that, there's also a link. Should be a link that points you to the place where you can rent accommodations.
Awesome.
It's yeah. So if you want to get to know the DNN community, you want to learn about DNN, this is your time and place to do it.
Awesome. Great. So just to finalize the topic of DNN Summit, I'm conducting interviews with the speakers. So I have done so far 2. You can see both of them here. Tomorrow, actually this coming Thursday, I'll be doing another one, and then I think that there will be 2 more. So the idea is that the speakers will have an opportunity to promote their session, to talk about the one thing that they want people to leave their sessions knowing about. And again, I'm very excited to be helping out and promoting a little bit the event with those interviews. If you are,
I'll be participating in that one on Thursday, I think.
Yes, awesome.
And I won't tell you what my sessions are about, but you'll be able to see that, or go to the website.
Awesome. And again, I always try to get the one thing from each one of the speakers on each one of their sessions, because some speakers, they have more than one session. Okay, so I'd like to transition here to Southern Fried DNN user group. Those guys had a great meeting about 2 weeks ago, and they had 3 presentations. One was Mr. Will Morganweck from DNN Corp, talking about module development best practices. Very informative. He touched on a few interesting points about what happened a few months ago with some vendors, and a vendor that has been removed from the store, DNN ago, and they are starting to reinstate them back. So they will be restating DNN ago, not as a module vendor, but as a skin, as a theme vendor. So again, they are restating, but he covered the reasons why they have been removed, suspended from the store. He also talked about what you need to ensure to have your module secure. So it was very informative. It was a half an hour conversation with Will Morganweck. Very informative. If you are a module developer, you should definitely check that out. I'm adding links specifically to his talk during the entire recording. So 30 minutes of Will Morganweck about module development best practices, including security. Also, there was a 15 minutes from Ryan Moore talking about the control suite of Manage.com. Manage.com, the hosting company, hosting provider that I use, that I promote, that I love. And he's talking about one of their main tools, their main proprietary tools that they deploy when you have with them a virtual server, a private server. You have that tool there on the desktop to help you putting up, DNN websites and managing your server. So very informative, 15 minutes with Ryan Moore on demoing of Manage.com Control Suite product that comes with their hosting plan. The third one was a presentation from Mandeep Singh. He is talking about their new modules, Live Exchange and Live Forums, and it was a roughly a 15 minutes talk. Link specifically to his point in the meeting is also shared here in the video notes. Coming towards an end here, I'm going to briefly mention the DNN tip of the week that I put out every week. I try to come up with an interesting, usually admin related aspect to DNN. Maybe it's a third-party module, maybe it's a plugin that you can use, maybe, who knows? It's something that will benefit whoever uses DNN. Maybe it's a trick, maybe it's a performance tip, whatever it is. Maybe it's a question that you have. Actually, I've been answering a lot of questions lately of the last few DNN tips have been based on questions that have been sent to me, that people want to know, how can we do this? How can we do that? So I said, you know what? How about I, put together a 5 to 10 minutes video showing how to do that the best way that I would do that if I were in their shoes. So if you have a question about DNN that you'd love, some sort of explanation, if I know the answer, I will, by all means, send a note to me, to my email, ederson@dnnhero.com. Send a note to myself, and I will potentially, if I know how to do that, or if I find out how to do what you want to get done, and if it's possible, I'll make a video, a DNN tip of the week, and I'll give credit to you, of course. Yeah, and this is, the latest tips. Actually, the list right now is up to 89 tips, so one a week, 30 weeks right now. So that's, I love doing them. I really, really like doing them. Joe, what's up? What else? What else did I leave behind?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm excited about, and it's called liquid content. You may have seen stuff on the DNN website or gone to a webinar in the past about liquid content. It's a component of DNN's Evoke product, which costs money to use as opposed to the community version of DNN. The interesting news, and I guess it's legal to talk about this because I've seen it other places, but liquid content is being transitioned into the DNN platform, which means that in the next few months, I think, liquid content will be available to everyone who upgrades to the then current version of DNN 9. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say about it once that happens, but liquid content is a way of separating content and putting it on your DNN page in a somewhat different way. It is somewhat like the Too Sexy Content product that we talk about a lot. And I think if you go back in the archives, you'll see some recorded webinars where liquid content has been demonstrated. So I think that's an exciting addition to the DNN platform that's coming up, and we'll see how that works out.
Awesome. I'm gonna chase down that link that has, a kind of a long presentation about liquid content. I'm gonna chase down and I'm gonna add that to the show notes here.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about the one that Joe Brinkman did that had
I think that's
a Chinese restaurant and an Amazon Alexa device.
It might be that one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the one though. But anyway, I'm gonna chase down that presentation and the other one that may not be that one. But again, I'll sort that out. Great point. Great point. So again, liquid content coming to DNN 9.2. I've downloaded 9.2 today, and I have a look around. I didn't see it there yet, but of course, it's just a nightly build. Maybe it's there already, maybe it's not. I don't know, but I couldn't find it right away.
It may have been pushed back. So maybe it's 9.3, but I'm not sure.
Got it. No, it might be there, but it's just that we are, actually right now DNN 9.2 is scheduled to go live Q1 of 2018. So who knows exactly when it will come out, So again, so it was not there today, but it doesn't mean that it won't be there tomorrow, But great, yeah, liquid content. I'm looking forward to put some DNN tips of the week regarding the liquid content as well in the near future. From my side, what is exciting, what is new? Actually, not a big deal, but I wanted to mention I actually put together a tip about that on how you can install plugins to CK Editor. It's not that trivial, it's a little bit tricky. Actually, we spend a lot of time trying to figure this one out. So there is a tip of the week about installing an accessibility checker tool to CK Editor, and I'll be putting up another tip of the week that will allow you to add a button to just press, and you can copy and paste a link from, let's say, YouTube. You can paste it there, and then it will put the entire embed code for you, not only for YouTube, but for other media related websites. So very, very interesting plugin. I will be showing how to put that together. So again, just exciting to see that you can roughly easily, once you know how to do it, add plugins to CK Editor. That's it from me. Joe, I think that...
One more thing. Speaking of installation, there was at one point a feature in DNN that allowed you to install modules into a DNN installation automatically by copying the install files into a certain directory and then browsing to the site with a certain URL. I recently was doing some things and it required installing 50 modules to a DNN installation. That's a whole nother story. But when I went to do that, that feature no longer worked. And it was removed as a security feature.
Yes.
And there is a way of making that thing work again. That might make a nice tip. Every 5 or 6 years, you may need to install 50 modules to a DNN installation. That was went from, I'll just do it this way. Whoops, panic sets in. And I asked a question, and within minutes,
you can...
3 people in the community had told me how to fix that. And by the way, when you're done, delete these files so nobody else can do it.
Yes, and I wonder for how long that method will keep working, because it's a bit of a hack,
It will keep working forever because it is basically part of a clean install of .NET Nuke, and they remove some file. They use it as part of a clean installation to install things. So
I see. So what you're saying is that
you basically have to get the install package, open it up, and copy a subdirectory into your DNN.
I see, because what happens is that when they do an installation, they use those files, they install, and then they remove them, correct?
Correct.
Got it. That's a great tip. I want that. I want that to my list here. Anyway, okay. Joe, we're gonna depart now.
So I won't issue any holiday greetings since we're going to record another one of these before the official holidays kick off.
Yes, so we're going to talk again in about a month, actually less than a month, around the 20th of December before the holiday season. So we can wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year at that point. Not now. Have a great beginning of December. Enjoy your time. And see you in about a month. Bye.
Take care.